Hey guys, welcome back. Today is going to be one heck of an exciting day because we're setting up the long-awaited Iwagumi tank that's going to be right here. It's going to be an old school style. I don't know if we're going to use CO2. We might do DIY CO2 for this tank, as many of you have been asking me to show you how I do my DIY CO2. So I might do that for this tank. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you want to see the DIY CO2 method that I use? But without further ado, I think it's time to show you guys this tank and start setting it up. So it's a 60 centimeter 2-foot tank, same as this one right here, the nature style, with all the golden tetras. You can see they're looking amazing. So active, so nice, these fish. And the plants are doing well. There is still some algae in here, but it's slowly starting to balance out, so that's a good thing. But this is the same style tank. This is an ADA tank, as you can see right there, the logo, ADA, high quality, not the cheapest out there. And this right here is a cheap version. It's made by a company called GEX, spelled G-E-X. You can see the light is GEX, the filter is also GEX. This is just an overhead filter. And I don't know how well this is going to work. The light is also not that bright. Let me turn it on there, and you can see it's not that bright, so I'm not sure how well the plants are going to grow in this tank, but if the plants don't do so well, I'll just change the light and we'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm pretty excited for this setup. It's going to be really fun. You can see the pump right here. It sucks the water up into this filter area. We'll need to put some filter media and wool in there, and then it'll go all the way here and drop down from that little pipe right there, and it'll circulate like that. So it's a kind of different style of filtration system. Not many people are using this type of filters for planet tanks especially, but since this is the old school theme, we're going to try this and see how it works. Let me know, do you guys think that this is gonna work or maybe not? So I've mentioned we're doing an Iwagumi. What that means, if you don't know an Iwagumi, it's just a rock layout. This right here is a layout using mostly wood. Nature style is what it's called. It also can be called a ryuboku styled layout. Ryuboku in Japanese means wood, so a lot of wood, and yeah, that's basically what that is. So right here we're going to have a rock layout, Iwagumi, and the rocks we're going to be using is in this little box right here. Maybe not so little. This right here, this is Manton stone. And I've got a little bit of it. We're going to try to grab some of the nice pieces and, yeah, arrange them and see how they do. So I'm thinking of like an island style. Rocks in the middle and then plants around it, maybe some in between the rocks and all that little stuff. But I'm thinking island style. That will look kind of nice in my opinion. So the first step for me, before I can put any rocks into this tank, before I can put soil in, I've got to put a base layer of pumice just to add some height, and so that I don't have to use too much soil, because if you don't put pumice, then you're gonna have to use up a lot of soil, and aqua soil is not that cheap. So right outside I've got some of this pumice. It's kind of messy out here, so please forgive me for that. This is one of the driftwoods that I used for my IAPLC contest last year. I'm not using it this year, but it's an amazing piece of driftwood. Take a look at that. Really nice, beautiful driftwood. But yeah, not to brag about the driftwood, this pumice right here is what I'm going to use. There are different sizes of this. Some people also use akadama soil, which is this thing right here, but I prefer to use pumice. It's a porous, lightweight stone, and it's really good to use underneath the soil substrate. And this right here is a medium-sized version. You can see slightly larger, and there is a large size version, but I only find myself using the medium size and the small size. So I've given the pumice a good rinse. It is a good idea to wash it out because it is really, really dusty. So that's what I do before adding it into the tank. And also, if you're looking for pumice but you don't know where to get it, I get mine at my local home center in the gardening section. But if you can't find it, you can always use lava stones. And if you can't find lava stones, you can just use like styrofoam pieces of board. I've got some of this Tetra initial sticks. It's a fertilizer, kind of like root tabs. This is what it looks like. So I'm gonna go sprinkle some of this inside, just to give the plants a little bit of an extra boost. Okay, there it is. Now the soil that I'll be using today is this right here. It's called Rivera soil, and it's similar to ADA Amazonia soil, but it doesn't leach out as much ammonia as Amazonia soil does. So I'm going to try this out for the first time today, and we'll see how it works. So that's just a little bit of soil added in, maybe more than a little bit, but we're going to add more in later. But before that, I'm going to start playing around with the rocks and try to create an aquascape that I like. So yeah, let's play around with some stones and see what happens, see what we come up with. Alright, so I've accidentally started without pressing the record button, but we've got that main piece of rock right there. That's called the oyaishi in Japanese, which means father stone. So for an Iwagumi tank, I'm not really experienced in this. I've only done an Iwagumi once in the future, and it was many years ago. But you usually want to start with the largest rock possible, and possibly you'd want something slightly larger than this to give more impact, but this is what I've got currently, and I don't really have another option. But so I've added this father stone. It's the main rock. I might move it around later, but next up we're going with the second largest rock. So yeah, this is it right here, and you just gotta play around. Play around and see what you like and what you can come up with. And I'm not really good at this. I'm looking at the tank right now, and I gotta say, I really like it, and I'm quite happy with this. I can't wait to plant it. At first I was having some doubts. I didn't really like it. The rocks looked a little bit too small, but once I put the light and the filter back on, because I did take it off earlier so that I can secure the rocks better in place, I gotta say I really like it now. Let's take a look right here. Okay. There we go. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of this scape. You can see the light right there. I kind of really like this black rim tank, black on the bottom with an Iwagumi. I think it looks so nice. And right there next to it is the nature style. A little bit overgrown right now. We gotta trim that and kind of make it look a little bit neater. So we have a jungle tank, like a jungle themed tank, lots of plants, very lush. And then next to that we have the complete opposite, a very nice simple Iwagumi minimalistic style, just a carpeting plant, and I think it's gonna look amazing. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this scape so far. The plants we're going to be using, I got some plants super cheap, discounted price, like 500 yen, which is about $5. This right here is dwarf hairgrass. I got it this cheap because it's not, as you can see, it's not in best condition. You can see a little bit of yellowing leaves and stuff like that, so that's why these two came so cheap. So we're going to be using some hairgrass, dwarf hairgrass, as well as some Tenellus, Echinodorus Tenellus, which I have some stored right here. I'm actually using Tenellus in my IAPLC contest tank, so I just take some of the trimmings out and just store them in this little bucket, and we're gonna plant them. And there it is, the Iwagumi tank is all set up, all finished. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the simple scape. I am really loving this look, and I can't wait for the plants to grow in and just carpet. It's gonna look pretty amazing once that happens, and I really hope it happens. Right now, I'm not using CO2 in this tank, but I'm thinking about adding CO2 in tomorrow, doing my DIY CO2 method, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video. Dwarf hairgrass can carpet without CO2, but it's pretty challenging, so I'm gonna put some CO2 in here to try to help the plants out. For this tank right here, the nature style aquarium, you can see I'm putting in quite a bit of CO2. This is just using the regular CO2 cylinder, but tomorrow's one we're using the plastic bottle, the water bottle method, and it's gonna be a little bit different compared to this, so I'm looking forward to it. As always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. The fish room is coming together one tank at a time, slowly, one tank at a time. Next up, we've got this tank. I wonder what scape we should do next. I'm thinking maybe Dutch style, but let's take our time. I'll see you guys next time.